All right, we're live.
Hey, good morning, everybody. August 8th, 8:02 a.m. Central Time. I wanted to quickly look at where we're at right now, what we did in the Globex sessions, and um, and what it looks like compared to what we did yesterday. The Everybody can see that we're up a good 40 points, and we were up probably a total of 50 points. It looks like it traded up to about the 76, 77 area. Um, so a nice move, definitely a nice move overnight. we closed at the we closed right in here at the 52.23 area. Um, just a tremendous day yesterday from our initial shorts right out of the gate. Um, I mean, unfortunately, we did get stopped a couple of times before we were able to get back in the short. And the one thing allowing us to do that is that we were going in with smaller size because we knew the market was searching for a top. It was a wider band of resistance. And we stated that yesterday. The market still needed to do a technical gap fill, which is right around the 57 area. And we just knew that that was possible. So automatically, wider range, reduced size to accommodate the amplitude of the move, the amplitude of that range. So you go in with maybe like a little starter size, eighth quarter size, with the idea that you could be stopped out for the 2 points, but it doesn't mean the short is wrong. It just means your entry. It means our entry is not quite there, not quite refined, and the market's searching for a little bit higher. And it did eventually go for the gap fill area, the 57, and we were able to get back in the shorts right around there. Mixed prices. I think Dan got 57. I think Lee got short maybe a few points lower as well as I did. But it instantly, those shorts, once the price was rejected in that area, those shorts provided 5 and 8 point scales immediately. And then we would pop back up and I would basically reshort my scales. So I picked up the 5 to 8 points and popped back, and I started building a position around that to get into. I got into a position where I was almost like 250% of my normal size. Not quite true, just less than 200% of my normal size. But of which, by the time I reached that, I already had like 10 point scales on most of it. That gave me confidence to go in down with larger size and add to the position because I could see, how the market was responding to this level. And I was on top of I had some good momentum, so that's where I was able to press my shorts when we were on the call that first 15 and 30 minutes of the open yesterday. So anyway, regardless, uh, good trade, came down close. We opened up, went and traded down to 51.82, and now we proceeded off of 51.82 to have a 100 point move from last night to right now. I mean that's just amazing. I mean that is just like an amazing market that is moving like that, and that is called crazy volatility. Definitely still got to be reducing your size. You notice in the DOM, your where the order entry, you notice where the size is still trading at probably 25 to 30%, and that promotes um, less liquid. You know what? That just promotes greater amplitude in the moves. So that is the first. That's one of the other signs you can see is like, well, I mean, this thing's going to take me for a ride. And if you're in there with your even half or full size, um, and you get stopped out on that size, now you're going to have fearful thoughts. Now you are going to trade scared because you don't want to get stopped out on another half or full size. But if you scale it back, the pain's not too bad. The blood's not that bad when the market's searching for a level, or you simply wait on the sidelines and you let it settle. And then you find for a little retracement against a now established support or established resistance area to then enter the trade. And that definitely the preferred method. So perhaps that's the best idea. Anyway, so what do I think here? Well, first of all, I'm seeing where we traded at the high. If I were looking at this chart, I mean, right away, I'm seeing the significance of the 5280 area. I'm seeing that because it was definitely a big. This was a big breakdown from yesterday, so I can see how right there that would be an area that I was looking for resistance had I been long going into this. And so a number of people picked up shorts, which is, I mean, good for you. I mean, that's great, but you had to have had I imagine if you were getting short, if you started getting short at the 52, 61, 62 area, which I could see that would be your first area you'd be considering a short right in here. You definitely, I mean, you got ramrodded and you got stopped out, and we had a nice flush into this area toward this, and now it's rejecting the price in here, so that so I don't know where you guys are short from if you are, but that would still wouldn't have been
73 for me, but I got a
it's what?
73, but I have a 63 scale or 64 scale.
Okay, there you go. There you go. So he's got 73, and we have the high of 76, 77. So I mean, he easily when Dan entered and picked up his 73, he easily could have had it 3 or 4 points in his face, or he was able to then get the scale, and then it went back up, and his basis was already above the highs, which normally would be a stop and a break even. So normally that would be the
It
thing.
went in my face.
Okay, it did. Okay, so there you go. Okay, I can imagine putting it on because I would picture it in my face too. All right, so what do I think here? All right, fine. We've had an over 100-point move overnight. That's a big move. The trade could have been stolen from us for today, but we've had such big ranges during the day. I think not. I think that if we get back over this 5280 area here, it's entirely possible that let me get that damn thing, that we can go travel back in here up toward this VPOC here. That would essentially be a magnet, and maybe auction and kind of fill in this range, possibly retrace the highs from yesterday. Alternatively, we could go. We could actually, if we get down below this 5260 area, we can come down and revisit this established overnight VPOC at the 523132 area. So that is that's possibly in the cards today. And that if we trade below, so then if we trade below, then it has a possibility of retesting the 5200, 520304 level, and then possibly retesting the overnight lows. That's possible, but it would have to get under this VPOC. You can see this consolidation overnight. It would have to get under here, and we'd have to correlate and to see how's NDX doing, how are the techs, what's going, are they, they gonna, provide a stronger tell. So there you go. There you go. You got your couple of bandwidths, and that's pretty much all I have technically. One thing I wanted to cover, and I think it's an important time to do it. A lot of us had really terrific days yesterday. Yesterday was like a baseball game where you had a couple of triples and you had a couple of home runs. You definitely feel good about yourself. You're excited. There's a little bit of euphoria in the air. But notice how you had a triple. You got up at bat again. You hit some good pitches. You got another triple. You stayed focused on the moment. You weren't caught up in the euphoria at that point. You were still focused on hitting, just high quality pitches. And then you proceeded to stay focused, and you picked up another home run, and then another home run. So whether your team overall ended up winning, you had a great day. Okay, well now if I'm a teammate, and hopefully I'm able to reflect this and correct my own mental attitude, my frame of reference. That was yesterday, and that game has nothing to do with today. And you got to get your head out of the clouds, and we focus on today. I don't even remember. I get my head to the point where I go to the extent I know I had a good day, but I don't remember where my P&L is. It was green. It was up. It was up big green. All right, fine, whatever. But you don't trade your P&L. That's a road to disaster. The market doesn't know your P&L. He doesn't know if you have $1 million in the account or like 10 grand. It doesn't give a shit. So you just have to really get that ingrained. It's like, whether you made 2,800 yesterday and that's your best day ever, all right, well, fine, come back. Today's a new day. You're looking for high probability setups, and those are the good pitches to hit. You're waiting for those. So be patient and just stay focused on the moment and the current at bat. That's what you have to do. And that's how you stay in this game. And that's how you string some successful days at the ball field. And you end up walking away and you win a 3-game series. All of a sudden, it's like, you got a good record going for a couple of weeks. And we all hit like a little patch or two where there's not much going on or I'm not seeing the ball right. Well, if that's the case, that means you're not seeing the setups right. Or maybe there aren't good setups. So you basically just sit on the sidelines, you don't do anything. And there are going to be a few other people that are seeing setups and they're going for it. And they're stringing together some consistently good trades, some consistent days, and that's great. But if you're not seeing it, you got to focus on yourself. Anyway, just wanted to just put that frame of reference out there, and I will hand it over to Dan.
Morning. Um, just
Good morning.
checking my audio in Discord there. Someone let me know if that's better. All right. So I'll reiterate a little bit, and I'll also sort of see what I'm seeing here. The last 3, 4 weeks, even I think it's been about maybe 3 weeks, have been crazy and crazy good on the profit side in here for the most part. Had a couple of days that were a little quieter, but for the most part, we haven't had a pause in a couple of weeks. As the longer you go into these down moves, the harder they get. They don't get easier. The beginning normally is pretty easy because everyone is on one side of the trade. As the trade gets older and goes on longer, people are on both sides of the trade now. And you have a fight between bulls and bears over whether we're going up or we're going down. And so it makes our job as active traders much more difficult when you have both sides of the aisle fighting against each other. Trading is very easy when everyone is off sides. It's very, very easy. People get off sides, their positioning has to unwind. That unwind has happened. Now we're in harder territory, and for some, this has been down moves are very difficult. For others, down moves are very easy. The point here is that as we go and as this correction matures, it becomes more and more difficult to predict. And the moves, because people start getting a little on the downside, can be very violent to the upside. So what we need to do is we need to take a step back and we need to protect the money that has been made over the last 3 weeks. And we do that by continuing to downsize further and actually cutting down the amount of trades that we take. So we need to just think about how many trades that we are taking and cut those back and really focus on the A plus setups. So where are we here today? All night we consolidated and sort of churned upwards. Consolidate. I mean, when you have a chart that's a 30-minute chart, so we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4 sessions here, right? And we've got a range that's 200 something points, churn upwards is 100 points. I mean, that's what we did. We churned upwards all night. We made higher lows, and jobs report sort of broke us north. Remember yesterday afternoon, the reshort I had on the way down was at 87.50. We're not back there yet. That's up in here. So we're not out of the woods. Actually seeing some people saying, "Oh, that's the bottom." I saw someone just say that on Twitter 20 minutes ago or whenever the report came. I don't know. I'm not so positive of that. But what I am positive of is that we have retraced this move. I don't know, maybe when Smooth gets up, he can talk about sort of the retracement and what that retracement is on 30-minute or even 1 hour. I'm sure it's something, but it's probably either the 61.8 or the 50. But now we're dead center here. Sort of a pivot, right? Where are we going to continue to come back up in here and trade up in this range? Or do we zoom out and we come and need to trade back down lower? I don't know yet. I think that I'm not exactly sure. Yesterday I told you I have resting orders here. We had one at 41 or 43. Um, got a scale and then stopped out. I took a small loss on that. Then I had another one sitting right at 57, which filled, and that worked. But today I don't have resting orders. I had a trade at 73. I just stopped out of the remaining of that. Now, do we come back up to this 88 to 92 range up in here? And let's go back to the 30-minute, and you can see that real clear. So 92 in here, and this whole area right here. And I'll put another rectangle. This whole area right here has been sort of a scene of the crime for a couple of days here. So we can even bring that up a little bit further to 5,300 because you can see just all the activity in there. So some pretty heavy resistance coming here. The market's gonna have to be convinced that it wants to go up and it doesn't want to be short anymore. I don't know if it's gonna do that, but we're gonna need to play it by ear and really take it slow. And really, the message from me today is when you have days where it's like, okay, we could go either direction here. We could either totally break down, or we could retrace right back up to this area up in here that we traded yesterday morning. So when you don't have a real clear idea, that should tell you to take a step back and to wait, because we've had an unbelievable couple of weeks. Now we need to sort of wait for the market to tell us which way it's going to go from here. So, yeah, that's really all I got. I know in the room we all went home pretty damn close to flat. I have a couple of runners. I mean, I have a couple of Netflix runners, and I have one single QQQ put, and I think I have a couple of IWM puts and a couple of Tesla puts. But overall, it's like under 2% exposure to the market. The rest is sitting in cash in the options account. I have some Nike too, but those are a little more medium term. But yeah, so with that, I'll turn it over. But not a whole lot of actionable intel from me today because, quite frankly, I don't have it yet.
Good morning. All right. So I've been sharing this for a couple days, and I mentioned, yesterday or the day before yesterday, actually at night, that I think we were around here, that I would kind of prefer that this came down a little further before going up, and it kind of went up yesterday, and then we rejected basically this 50 Fibonacci, which is where we were getting short yesterday. We came within a few pennies of that level, 53.60. And then we basically got this sell-off here. And we came down to this level here. And we kind of ran around all night, and now we got this pop-off of the jobs report, and we are headed north. So within this pattern, if this kind of continues to play out, the 53.0375 is the next Fibonacci up. which has been an area of resistance as well. So keep that on the charts. And then obviously this area of the highs yesterday matches up with the 50 Fibonacci. So that's going to be a key spot. And, you know, I always kind of take a look at the trend lines here to guide. And we're coming up pretty close to it. So it's going to coincide with this 38 Fib, 5303.75. So just be careful if you're long around that spot. If we get over this level, we see some support. That would be an area to look at long, which will give you room up to this high of day yesterday. If we start falling apart, you know, the pattern may start looking a little long in the tooth, and maybe won't play out as it looks here. But these areas of support down here around the 5200 would be the area if that breaks and we start compromising the lows from yesterday or from the overnight session. Then I would say this would be a failure. But right now it's looking pretty healthy. And this is a 4-hour chart too, so this could take into next week to continue playing out. So we have to zoom in to the smaller time frames to, you know, kind of see what's happening on the hourly. You know, on the hourly even we see like a little bit of a harmonic type setup here, which we know is a bearish pattern. So maybe we get up to this trend line and then sell off a little bit before trying again. So we just have to zoom in for these intraday trades. Hold on, get rid of this. There we go. But right now we are coming up pretty close to this trend line, so it's not an area that I would be getting long, even though the larger pattern says to go long.
What price is that trend line? I guess it depends.
It depends where we hit it, but it's going to be around 5,300.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I drew it pretty quick, but I would sort of go and make sure I hit my levels, and it's about right there. So yeah, 5,300. So 5,300, 5,302 is going to be a tough spot. Not a bad area to try a short if you're getting confluence, especially if you're looking at NDX. Just kind of check where that's at. Let me zoom in here. So I have my fib levels kind of identified. This is that 5303. This is a longer time frame, 23 fib here, so I have that there just noted. And then that 50 Fibonacci here at 360.75. So those are kind of my targets. As far as my major pivots for today, we're here, and this is why we shorted a little earlier. We're at this monthly pivot here, and there was a weekly pivot just below. Once we get over that, you know, our major pivots are much higher, up in the 5,400 range. So we're a ways from that. So we're really targeting right now above these levels, and we're actually rejecting here off this monthly pivot. But if we get over here again, this 303 is a fib with that trend line just below. And then if we can get over there, we'll be looking at this area around 5340 to 5360, which was basically where we topped out yesterday. So that's it really for the indexes. Individual stocks, I really don't have anything right now that I'm looking at. It's kind of a weird spot for the market. So difficult to look at anything from the swings. Obviously keeping an eye on NVIDIA. That's reclaimed 100. So that's kind of been a key level here. So that'll be a good one to keep an eye on. It does have a similar kind of setup as the indexes. You know, so definitely has a potential harmonic there. If we draw it out. the numbers work. So Nvidia could be one to take a look at if we see a little strength today. Same kind of thing. We get over this 38 Fibonacci. There's a trend line there, but that has room up to 106, 109 with a little momentum. I like what the MACD is doing here. This is on the hourly, so if you zoom in on the 5 minute, you can sort of refine your entry, but that's a possibility. And obviously that Nvidia moving up would kind of help the indexes do the same. So Baba Daily, let me take a look. Baba. I don't know. I just this thing is kind of screwy. I like that it's got over its 200 day. Yeah, I don't see anything that actionable there. It's got earnings coming up. When's that? August 15th. But nothing looks too actionable other than if I were going to take a trade, maybe take it against the 200 day. Bullish harmonic. Not really. I don't know what you see. The only thing I kind of see, although it's really messy, is kind of this potential, which is a bearish harmonic, but yes, this is the bullish leg, the C to D. But it's, I don't know, it's kind of messy looking, but not out of the question.
We're getting ready to open. I just wanted to point out real fast, the indexes are really just going to open right in the middle of yesterday's range. SPX 5250, NDX 18130 area. I put a circle there. So that's where we're going to be opening. So I know we open like in 1 minute, just to give food for thought. We're opening in the middle of a range. So it could be kind of a challenging trade right out of the gate. So just a quick comment. Thank you.
Yeah, and Tesla as well, I was just going to mention, kind of has the same shape to it. But we'll see. You know, everything's been kind of stalling out on the upside, so I would play everything sort of in a very defensive way. And if you do take anything, I'm not holding anything overnight right now unless I get really good scales during the day and I'm writing something for free. That's kind of where I'm at right now. So we'll be in the room, trade safe, and we'll be there to answer any questions. Have a good one.